Welcome to Informed Entrepreneur Magazine. My name is Mike Baumstark, and I'm interviewing Dave Delevante today of Delevante Health Enterprises. Hi, Dave. How are you?
Hey, Mike.
Good to see you.
Good to see you, too.
We're going to cover just a few topics during the interview. I want to start out with what's your origin? Where did you come from? How did you get to the place you are right now? And then we'll go into how you got started in business.
Okay. Actually, I'm from New York originally.
Mm-hmm.
Met my wife in high school in New York, and we've been married for 30 years now. It'll be 30 years this August, and we got 4 children. Moved here about 30 years ago.
Wow.
And in my previous life, before Delevante Health Enterprises, I was a naval architect, so I was designing ships for the U.S. Navy.
Oh, yes. I remember discussing that with you a long time ago. And you live in the Woodbridge, the East County area of Prince William County.
Correct.
In Virginia.
Yep.
Okay. Well, that's interesting, Dave, because I know that coming from naval architecture with a lot of training and really a lot of technical skills, I mean, you have to be smart to do all that. How in the world did doing that profession wind up moving over to an entrepreneurial enterprise you're doing now? How'd that happen?
That's a good question, Mike. Basically, my wife had been ill. She had a lot of fatigue issues for a long number of years, and we sort of started learning about health on the side and studied it for about 14 years or so. And then we found this company. It was called USANA Health Sciences.
Mm-hmm.
And she got on the products, and her quality of life just improved dramatically.
Wow.
And she was back to doing dance, and she liked doing choreography with our church and things like that. So it was kind of like it just gave her life back. And really, USANA was just sort of a hobby on the side for me. And it's funny that you asked the question the way you did, because I had 0 sales skills or training or network marketing skills or anything like that. I was purely a technical guy. So I always tell people now that if you want to learn how to do network marketing, or you want to learn how to do USANA specifically, just don't do anything I did in the first 5 years because I did it all wrong. But I gradually, just through self-study, personal improvement, and taking different sales courses and things like that, kind of picked up on the skills of network marketing. And actually now I'm in the top income earners of the company, and I do a lot of training for people on the East Coast.
Excellent.
So it was quite a transition.
One thing I'm noticing with all the interviews I do with business owners is something I notice in you. You seem to both really care about the people that you are working with, clients, and also you have a real deep affection or a commitment to this company's products. Would that be accurate?
Absolutely, absolutely. I feel like I've come alive since leaving engineering, and I was blessed. I mean,
it's not to make engineers feel bad.
No,
they are alive.
Yeah, I was blessed. I actually got a free ride through college. It was all scholarship based.
Wow.
I had a great career for 23 years. I was making the 6-figure income, and I had the 401k and the whole bit.
Wow.
I mean, it was a very stable. It was a very good job, and I actually enjoyed it. I got to design a bunch of ships, and it was fun. It's just that some people's natural bent is maybe an engineering or an analyst. I realized I actually am sort of a closet people person. I actually like getting involved in people's lives. And then when you can help them with their health and then also improve their finances potentially at the same time, it's a real it's a rush, to be honest. I love dealing with people.
You seem to be in a good profession right now, because healthcare, staying healthy, finances. I mean, aren't these two of the biggest topics people are dealing with right now?
Absolutely.
So
if you're losing sleep at night, it's because of your health or your finances, typically.
Right. Okay, so what was the transition? You're designing aircraft carriers, and so how did you transition? Did you go cold turkey? Did you sell your home, rent your children, or whatever? What happened there?
No, that's the beauty of network marketing as opposed to some franchise or things like that is you don't have to mortgage your house to do it. So as I said, it was sort of just a hobby at first, and for 5 years I kept my day job, and I just chatted with people about the products because I did have a real good feeling and I developed some expertise on the products. So I would just chat with people, and I got quite a few customers, and I built it up to just a small side income. It was a part-time thing. And then back in 2003, I sort of started pondering what this could be. I'd never really thought of it as something big. I just thought of it as something on the side. And in 2003, I actually set a 2-year goal that I was going to make enough money to quit my day job within 2 years. And my wife almost fell out of her chair when I told her I was thinking about quitting this job because we grew up. You work for the man, and you go to college, you work till you're 65 or 70, and then you try to live on half of what you couldn't live on before.
Right.
Exactly. I set a 2-year goal, and it was 2 years almost to the day, January 5th of 2005. And at that point, I was making twice at USANA what I was at my day job.
Wow.
And it was a no-brainer at that point. And I left my job, and now I've been full-time now for actually this month, 8 years.
Wow.
Full-time.
Now, mention to me and to the audience what was maybe the one or two biggest difficulties that you experienced when you made the transition.
Mm-hmm.
What were your immediately couple of worst difficult scenarios as you began to go from there?
Yeah, good question. I have to pick a couple here, huh?
Right.
Well, I'll tell you that the hardest thing, and just to be honest here, the hardest thing about doing a business when you're sort of counseling people about their health are the people that really don't want to change or are unwilling to change, and they'll make excuses, and it might be, oh, it's inconvenient, it's too expensive, or whatever, and they're just not willing to make those changes because I know I have answers for them, but they don't know how important those answers are yet.
Right.
And the same is true on the financial side. I show them a way that they can actually bring in a residual source of income, protect themselves from getting laid off and that sort of thing, and sometimes they say no. And that's hard on someone when you have an answer for someone and they won't accept it, particularly if it's someone you're close to, whatever. But that is far surpassed by the joy of when you do talk to someone and you watch the lights come on. You can see the gears turning, in their head, and they're saying, "Wow, there's hope out there. There's financial hope, and I can get healthier." So it's a balance between the two. But I'll tell you, the happy part outweighs the sad always.
Yes, as an entrepreneurial spirit, of whom I also participate, in which I also participate, it's kind of hard for me, I'm sure for you, to see people who obviously could make a fairly small course correction in the case of moving in that direction you're talking about, and they could really change their lives, and then watching them unable to decide to take any risk whatsoever.
Exactly.
It's sad for me, but I have to understand that some people don't have that entrepreneurial risk factor inside their heart, right?
Exactly.
Which
you can't want it more for them than they want it for themselves. They have to take that step.
Right. You have to let it go sometimes, I'm sure. Okay, so what has been something that you found a real delight or a real successful item in your processing through this business life that you're in now? What's something that you said, wow, this is great, or this is really working?
Well, I'll tell you what transitioned me from a side job income to a way over six-figure income was that decision that I made back in 2003. It was like once I made the decision that I was going to be quitting my job in 2 years. As soon as that decision was made, it wasn't that I went out and made a whole bunch more sales the next week per se, but in my heart I knew where I was going. Mm-hmm. And what I discovered in life and business or whatever is people aren't really selling or buying your product, and they're not really buying your business or your service, they're buying you. Mm-hmm. They're deciding, is this guy going somewhere? Mm-hmm. Should I follow him? Mm-hmm. And as soon as I was going somewhere, boom, the business it was almost self-fulfilling. The business just blossomed over those 2 years. So what I teach people now is, as a brand new person in any network marketing company, any sales-oriented thing, set your goals and make them, tell people what they are. And so now I tell people, look, this is where I'm going. So let's say you're brand new at USANA, and your goal is to make $60,000 by the end of the year, by the end of 2013. Well, when you're talking to people, you can say, look, I'm looking for a couple of partners. I'm going to be at the stage where I'm making about $60K by the end of the year. I would love to take 2 people with me. And people see that as an invite to go somewhere with a leader. Mm-hmm. And as I said, my numbers didn't change the next week. I didn't change even what I was doing. It was just what changed in my heart. And as soon as I made that decision, and the faster you make that, the lesson is don't wait 5 years like I did. Make that decision right from the beginning, even if it's a small goal. Set that goal and tell people what it is.
Right. I think all of us as human beings are looking for that sort of shepherd figure that can help us go in the right direction, that we can trust, and that in an area we have a need to fill in our lives, and here's someone that's a reliable guide to go that direction. That seems to be a need. I mean, even someone that does plumbing or sells cars, if you can find that sort of trustable shepherd figure, you almost never want to let them go.
Yeah.
And so that's probably kind of what you experience also.
And it's about building relationships ultimately. And any business is about building relationships.
So let me ask you this, David. Where do you see yourself in your business 3 to 5 years? A lot of people say, hey, 3 to 5 years, I want to sell. I want to be sitting in Bermuda, watching the beach.
Yeah.
Where do you see you and your business 3 to 5 years from now?
Well, first of all, the beauty of USANA is you can run the business from the beach as long as you have a Wi-Fi connectivity. Wow. It's really a zero overhead business, so it's very, very portable. But I'm not ever going to stop doing USANA. I've decided that from the beginning that I love sharing these products with people and the life-changing effects. So I'm going to continue to do that forever. So I'm not going to retire or anything like that. But at the same time, I do have some significant goals. I want to be in the top 25 income earners in the company, and there's 170,000 distributors in the company. So I've got some lofty goals. Mm-hmm. And part of the reason why I have the big goals, and it's not even because we need the money at this point, but it's your goals. When you develop goals, it motivates other people, and it gets them excited to know. As soon as you sort of settle and get into a management mode, then everyone else sort of does the same thing. Mm-hmm. So I've developed some pretty lofty goals for the next few years.
In your business, somewhat in the business that I do, this is similar, but even so, more in yours. Your success in business brings a whole bunch of people along with you. It's almost exactly like you're a group headed for more success. Yeah, exactly. That's a really cool aspect too, I assume, right?
Yeah, you actually cannot succeed in this type of business without making a bunch of other people succeed.
Yeah, that's
and
awesome.
Life's about setting up a win-win situation for people, and that's basically what we've done.
Now, you also speak to groups about health-related topics, things like that, and you have a couple things coming up soon. What's something you have coming up soon?
I do. Like, for instance, this Saturday I'm speaking for a group that raises money for the American Heart Association. Okay. But my favorite two topics to talk about, only because I think they're the most misunderstood, are diabetes, type 2 diabetes, mm-hmm. and how it functions and how it can be reversed. And also cholesterol, which is very misunderstood. People don't understand that even bad cholesterol, your LDL, if it's not oxidized, it actually doesn't hurt you. So there's better ways of doing things, in my opinion. And I don't give medical advice, but in my opinion, better things you can do than a statin drug like a Zocor and Lipitor. So I do. Those two talks are my absolute favorite.
Fantastic. Well, in closing, what would be one thing you would say to other business owners, either highly successful business owners or perhaps people just starting out? What's one or the most two tips you'd say about being in business, being successful? What would you say?
Well, the first one would be to set those goals. I mean, absolutely. We talk about it all the time, but even I talked about it a lot, but I never actually did it. I never wrote it down. I never told anyone. So I would say that. But the second thing is you have to make the business about them. It's not about you. Mm-hmm. Every single conversation that you have needs to be about them. They say you have one mouth and two ears. Use them proportionally. So be a listener. But don't just listen so you can jump in and give them the next answer, mm-hmm. but actually be legitimately concerned about their life. And in any business, for a business to be successful, really what you're doing is you're providing answers to problems. And you can't provide answers to someone's problem if you don't know what their problems are. So you need to find those out. Once you do that, and for instance, if I'm talking to someone about their arthritis pain or something like that, and they also bring up the fact that they're trying to pay for their kids' college, and they keep harping on that, and they look concerned about that, then I'm going to talk to them about the financial benefits of USANA business mm-hmm. as well. Mm-hmm. Same as if I'm talking to someone about their financials, and then they bring up some health issues, I'm going to talk to them about that as well. But you have to be a good listener, and you have to make the entire process about them.
I've noticed that the simple, what's called a golden rule. The Bible teaches, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. That principle in business seems to be a basic success track, no matter what people are doing. It really Absolutely. Is. If you really care about people, yes. It's helpful. And also, it's great for you because you're doing things actually for the benefit of others, yeah. as well as trying to make a living for your family. That's yeah, great. Exactly. Well, in closing, Dave, would you share with the audience the details about your business? How to contact you, if there's a website or anything like that you share with the audience.
I'd love to. The best way to reach me is my cell phone. My direct line is 703-928-1116. That's 703-928-1116. My email, the easiest one, it's real tricky, dave@usana.com. And that's USANA. Like U.S. Naval Academy with an extra A stuck in the middle. If you want to just check out general information about health, what I like to do is be an educator more than a salesperson. So just check out my blog, which is daviddelevante.com.
Excellent. Well, I really enjoyed interviewing you today, Dave. It's been a pleasure. And we thank you all for joining us, and we'll keep you posted about other interviews coming up on the website. Please enjoy. Thank you.